my name's Simon Beeks. I work at Melbourne University, and we've been doing some research with the Cognitive Decline Partnership Centre, which is possibly a unique national initiative to look at how social and clinical issues can improve people's experience of dementia. And the project that I'll be talking about today is about public attitudes. So looking at public attitudes is interesting at the moment, because not only have we found that finding a cure is much more complex and expensive than first thought, we're also seeing a move towards community forms of care and the growth of the voice of people living with dementia and their carers as a civil rights issue. So this is an interesting time to begin to look at those perspectives. And in this research, we looked at people's perspectives as people living with dementia, their carers, health and social service professionals, and professionals in the service sector, so hospitality workers, hairdressers, people working in IT, those sorts of things. And what we found is that the way that people see dementia varies depending upon their voice, but also their closeness to dementia. So if you have a family member, or you don't have a family member who has dementia, your views on dementia will be quite different. And your perception of it as a public priority will vary accordingly. So people who don't have a family member see it as a need to know, I'll get to know about this when I need to. There's many more issues out there that need attention. But if you have some sort of personal or family contact, then you see it as a high priority and an important social issue. Now, what we found when we interviewed people was that people with dementia, their carers and professionals have very different takes on what is a priority of public health campaigning, as well as some overlaps. But in a nutshell, people with dementia want social engagement and inclusion in communities. They want to lead a normal life. Carers do want that, but they also want people to understand the particular forms of disadvantage that carers experience because of their position as carers in society. Health and social work professionals will tend to focus on more neutral issues around diagnosis and care. And those people who are in the services, they want to know how to communicate with people with dementia. In fact, that last thing was common across everybody who didn't have dementia. So what we're seeing is that people with dementia and everybody else are like two sides of the same coin. People with dementia want to be integrated into society, and people and carers who don't have dementia themselves want to know how to communicate and interact with those people living with dementia. So if you put those two together, you will find that if we could increase people's engagement with society and give other people the skills of communication, interaction and understanding that they need to do so, we can move from the notion of finding a cure to integrating these particular groups back into community and neighbourhood settings.